This is Aaron Turner, and this is my pitch for my film Eggs. Here's the treatment. It is quite small, so I've got a paper copy here for you to read. Thank you. So there's the idea of the film is this couple, you know, it's a normal life, you know, it's pretty, go to work, you know, just the normal stuff. But suddenly, Martin, who is a main character, the husband, he develops cancer, and so what him and his wife decide to do is go on sort of almost like a bucket list type trip thing. So they're going to go and do things they've always wanted to do, because obviously Martin's not going to live for much longer. I think it's personally a pretty decent idea. It's quite original because I've not really seen many films that are like that. Obviously, of course, there's like cancer stories in other films, like Fault in Our Stars. You know, this guy kid that gets cancer, I think. So yeah. Some key scenes that are in my film are, of course, one where it's in the towards the start of it, and Martin he starts coughing quite hard, and his wife sort of notices and says, you know, do you want to go see a doctor about this? And you know, he waves it off because most men would. And of course, eventually he coughs so hard, and then he actually just collapses. He wakes up in his living room with like a doctor with him, and of course he's just like, well, you know, you might want to come get this checked out. So that convinces him to go and get it checked out at the hospital. Of course, another key scene is in the hospital, because this is where he actually gets told what's actually happened, and that he's actually, unfortunately, got lung cancer. We have a character list here as well. So there's only two main characters, the rest are just sort of very small roles, just almost like extras. We have Martin Bircher, who is a white British man. He's a secretary for HR. He is, of course, the main character. He's the husband to the second main character. The second main character is Amelia Bircher. She's white British as well. She's, of course, the main character. She's the wife. She doesn't work. She's sort of retired a little bit early. They're both in their sort of like 40s, you know, late 40s. And they both sort of, you know, they sort of have a love for the same things, like music, 80s music, you know, they like spending time with each other. They both, you know, don't like, you know, being confrontational with each other. They like to sort of be a bit chilled out. This is the budget for my film. Now, I think it is quite realistic, because it's not going to be the highest of budgets, because of course action films aren't, you know, they're not going to have, well, action films are going to have a really high budget because of stunts, you know, makeup, all that sort of stuff. Whereas this is a romantic film, so it's really not going to be that, you know, that expensive to make. The most expensive part of it will be the cast, and to be honest, I do find it quite feasible, because the BFI will be able to help fund this project. This is my production schedule. As you can see, from January to March, it's going to be sort of script writing, the casting, all the little bits of pre-production. From March to 13th of April, it's going to be, you know, just the real production part of it, so the filming, all that sort of things, going to locations, filming, blah blah blah. April to June, so a good sort of 2 months to edit the whole thing, because it may take a little while, because there's a lot of different scenes, because the whole bucket list type thing, which I mentioned, will be, you know, there'll be a lot of different places. Now, for another sort of week, maybe just about a week, there'll be time to check for bugs or problems that maybe with the filming or the audio or anything like that, so that we can quickly go over it and perhaps, of course, fix it. I researched, and to get my film certified by the BBFC, it could take up to a month, but then they don't actually have like a set sort of time that they can do it, so it will take around a month, up to a month to get that certified. For another month, we're going to be marketing, so trailers, teasers, posters, all you know, the whole thing, ready for the release date, which will be the 26th of August 2016. This is, well, I think this is a really good release date. It's sort of when not many films are really coming out, because the summers are just sort of ending slowly. So I think this is a really good time for people to go and see this film. I also have a sheet, of course, for the budget, for the production schedule, sorry, if you want to go through that. Here is the proposed cast for my film. Now, I mentioned earlier, Steve Coogan, he's been in a lot of British films. Recently, he was in a British film called Philomena, which, you know, tons of praise, tons and tons of it. Now, he's been all over British TV, British film. Alan Partridge is a really popular character he's played. I feel that he can bring like emotion, he can really sort of portray a sort of middle-aged sort of office worker, you know, that's just sort of loving life with his family, like with his wife. I think he can bring real sort of, you know, style and emotion to the role. He has been in other films. The reason why I feel this is feasible, he has been in other films, you know, big Hollywood films like Tropic Thunder, for instance, or Despicable Me, the animation. But again, like, he has done loads of British films, so I find that this will be, you know, not easy to get in, but definitely feasible. Definitely feasible. Now, the woman I'd like to cast for Amelia is Emma Thompson. Again, she's been in, you know, loads of British films. She's also been in Nanny McPhee, the Nanny McPhee films, and of course they were really popular. So sort of a big following for her through that. She's done, of course, a lot of bigger films as well, like of course Steve Coogan. And the both of them, I think, with their combined sort of audiences, I feel like they can bring in a lot of fans or a lot of people to watch this film. Target audience for this film will be females between 34 and 46. I chose this because I feel like the characters are around that age as well, so it may seem a little bit more relatable to those type of people. White, British, of course, working class, but I'm not sure if people are really going to watch it of a higher class. So, yeah, that's the target audience. Some samples. I have got, so, you know, I've got a script, got set design, costume design, I've got some fonts, and I've got a storyboard that I can show you. So here is a set design. So here we've got the set for the opening in the kitchen, got the table, you know, because in the treatment you'll see I have the camera coming up from the sort of under the table, rising up over, and then you sort of see Martin coming out from under, not under the stairs, but like coming down the stairs. Here is another part for a key scene, which was in the hospital where he's getting checked up and he's actually getting told that he has cancer, which of course, you know, tragic. This one is for the ending when they've reached the end of their sort of bucket list, if you want to call it that, and they're just sort of looking at the stars. You know, it's a really sort of calming ending. Now this is the costume design for my characters. Here we have the one for Martin, so we've got his casual sort of clothing here, which wears jeans, sort of like a normal sort of man would. We've got like a leathery kind of jacket, nice top. Now, because he works in an office, he will be wearing sort of a suit type deal here. It sort of just shows what kind of person he is. Like, he is casual, but he is quite serious about his work. Here, Amelia Burton, there's not really much to her costume because she is very casual. Yes, she's very casual. She's got a top, some jeans, you know, just the normal. When I was going through some fonts, I went through this. Now this one I don't think would work because this would be for sort of like an action film, because, you know, you've got the lines. It makes you feel like, you know, the army sort of. It's an army type film. This one here, I didn't pick this one because I thought it was more sort of sci-fi. It's really sort of smooth, curved. It looks maybe like, you know, a sci-fi title. And then this one's the one I ended up going with because it doesn't look really sort of. It doesn't give off the sort of vibe that it's serious in a way. It's like, it's not solid. It's you know, it's a little bit curved. You know, it's because obviously the film is, you know, it's quite serious, but it is kind of fun because of the whole bucket list thing that goes on. That is the end of the show. Now, I do have the script and storyboard right here for you to check out. So yeah, thanks for listening.